marketing given the new reality we're facing. Best practices for leveraging first purchase data, tips on bettering lifecycle marketing, and I won't let you go without some recommendations on how e learning businesses should scale personalization. We have a whole lot to cover, so lay back, turn the volume up, and with no further ado, let's hand off to Nitzan Peled, PostFunnel's editor in chief. He has his weekly segment of well curated marketing headlines. Nitzan, what do you have for us?
Hi, Amit. Are you ready for some football? At least somehow football related news. That's what we got these days. So, on PostFunnel, we talked about how Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben will change their logos and names because they consist of racist stereotypes. And now, finally, Dan Snyder, the owner of Washington's professional football team, also known, not for too long, as the Redskins, said he will look into changing the team's name and logo. That's again after years of opposing the idea passionately. And we already start seeing some retailers dropping Redskins merch, dropping as in leaving it off the shelf, not as in dropping a new sneaker. The discussion also includes the baseball team, Cleveland Indians, and some other sports teams with names such as Warriors, Chiefs, etc. And for marketeers, if you are listening, it's never too late to do the right thing. Even if it will come with some criticism now, getting rid of names, logos, other design or communication components that consists of racist stereotypes is something you should already be at least looking into. Still, in football, Colin Kaepernick, the player who started the kneeling protest during national anthems before NFL games, who since became one of Nike's main presenters and a prominent civil rights activist. So he signed a partnership with Disney's ESPN to produce a docuseries about his journey. And that's not the only way Disney is trying to reproduce its own success, because obviously such docuseries hopes to gain the same attention ESPN's latest docuseries got. We're talking about The Last Dance, of course. So over the past weekend, 4th of July weekend, Disney Plus released the play Hamilton on streaming. Perfect timing during a long weekend, going along with a watch party on Twitter with Lin-Manuel Miranda and some other stars from the play's original cast. Again, showing how on top of the situation Disney is releasing it now, about a year ahead of original date, similar to what they did with The Last Dance when they pushed it a few months, again, ahead of schedule. And it seems to be working, at least from this angle. Disney reported a 74% increase in app downloads over the weekend. Quickly shifting strategies, acting instead of reacting. There's a lot we can learn from how Disney's been going about things recently. And that's it for me. See you again next week.
Thank you, Nitzan. Let's talk marketing amid coronavirus. Should brands change their marketing around given the new reality we live in? Or should they remain doing what they've been doing thus far? And if change, how significantly should the change be? I think that this topic would make a great topic for a debate. Don't you agree? So today we have two directors, both from Optimove's strategic services team. This will definitely heat up. On one corner, Tanya Amedi, Director of Strategic Services, and on the other corner, Sam Resnico, you guessed it, also a Director of Strategic Services here at Optimove. May the force be with you both. Hello, Tanya. Hello, Sam. You ready for this? We got 30 seconds each of you provide their take on whether brands should keep doing what they do during COVID or should they entirely rethink and reinvent their marketing. After that, each will get an additional 30 seconds to provide feedback on each other's take. Make sense? Give me an amen here.
Amen.
Lovely. So, Tanya, you're going first. Your 30 seconds start now.
So times are changing. You need to make sure you're keeping your clients engaged. And this means you need to adapt your product offering or communications in accordance. This is a time where the reality has changed and it dictates how you communicate with your clients and what opportunities you provide them. New offering will increase revenues, which is obviously important in such hard times. And what is important for you is to keep providing value to your customers. This means that it will require creativity.
You're done. Let's go, Sam, your take.
I'm on the total opposite side of this. Listen, brand values are the cornerstone of customer loyalty. It's not enough to just have a kick-ass product or service anymore. Customers come to your brand because they love the story that you tell. So switching brand positioning during a time of global crisis, what does that say? What does that reflect about your own brand's identity, stability, and future? Not to mention, it's costly. You might go down this venture of switching your position, switching your offering. What happens if you invest all of this money and at the end, you have no return to show? Stay true to what you know and what your customers love.
All righty. Tanya, what do you have to say to that?
So you just want to wait and see when things, or wait until things change. You know how long this will take? What offering additional products or additional options to your clients means that you can't keep your brand values. You can't be sure what would have happened if you haven't changed. I mean, it's true that some clients of ours didn't change their communications, but what would have happened if they had changed and if they had provided more opportunities to their clients to keep being engaged with them and their product?
Tanya, you're up. Sam, what's your feedback to that?
Yeah, listen, Tanya, you bring up some good points, but clearly we're not sitting on the same side of this table. From my perspective, it just raises a huge red flag that you need a pandemic to figure out what your values are, what resonates with your customers. So fine, let's say you trained your strategy, you change your offering, you offer something new. What happens in 3 or 4 months' time when this pandemic ends? Are you going to just switch back to what you had before? Are you going to keep this offering? It's a very big move. It's a risky move. And I say, stay true.
You're done, Sam. Thank you very much, Tanya. Sam, seems like there is no silver bullet here. Change your marketing amid the coronavirus outbreak, or keep on doing what you did. If you have any questions to either Sam or Tanya on their stand on things, please feel free to email us at services@optimove.com. Thanks again, Tanya and Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tanya. Let's talk new customers. We know very little about them. However, we can leverage the data breadcrumbs that they leave for us for funnel optimization. How, you ask? Let's hand off to Optimove's Director of Product Marketing, Ronnie Vexelman, to help answer that question.
Thank you, Amit, and welcome everybody. Thank you for taking your time again for another PostFunnel Insider. I'm Ronnie Vexelman, Optimove Director of Product Marketing. And today I'm talking about how you can look at the first purchase data and use that data to improve your acquisition and conversion funnels. So acquisition costs are rising, as you know, and each brand is unique. But what everybody has in common is that there's this first transaction that takes place with your customers. If you look at that transaction and you look across different attributes that your customers have or different products that they're buying, and understand what drives more loyal and more longer times with more sustainable customers over time for your brand, you will be able to optimize acquisition and conversion funnels to bring in that type of customers, right? Or incentivize the behavior of those type of customers in other customers. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to show you a bit of data from one of our clients. Of course, we're not going to name them by name. And you can then use this as a best practice for your own business. So let me share my screen real quickly. And what you can see here is a distribution of customers based on the first purchase category. So what category, and this is a retailer, of course, of women apparel, and what did they buy more? So 42% bought leggings in their first purchase, 23%, for example, bought panties, shapewear was 29%, and so forth. Now, this alone isn't enough. It's just a distribution of purchases, which is very easy to understand. But if you take this distribution and you take these customers as clusters based on what they're buying first, you can then do a survivability analysis. And here what we're doing is we're taking that 42%, those legging customers, and we're comparing how many of them arrived and did a second order, and a third order, and a fourth order, and so on, against those who did not buy leggings So there's a group, everybody else. And you can do this for every single product. This is the most successful one, so that's why I'm showing you this one. But you can see that we've got the second order, 35% for those who bought leggings. The first order against 29%, that's a 20% difference. There's a 16.7% higher chance that if you bought leggings in your first order, you'll buy a third time. And again, 20% chance, 6% over 5%, that if you bought leggings in your first order, you're gonna make a fourth order. After that, it kind of just gets murkier and there's not a real difference. But what this means is that for this retailer specifically, going into leggings and incentivizing legging purchases early on is more important and will result in customers that come back and order more. Now you can take that example and then you can understand what they did, right? You can start promoting them stronger in your acquisition ads and your sign-up newsletters and kind of like trying to push that. If you have some kind of pop-up on your e-com store or personalization on your e-com store, and somebody walks in and you have no idea who this person is, you know, that first session that you're trying to do, maybe you want to kind of like give them as default leggings for this retailer. You can take this information and turn it into anything else, right? This leggings product could be any other product for any other retailer. So I think that if you look at your data from the first purchase and you find that attribute, in this case, it was product category, that differentiates the survivability of the customers based on that attribute, you can optimize your acquisition and conversion funnels for that specific attribute. So I hope you found this helpful. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Amit, back to you.
Great stuff. Thanks, Ronnie. One of the most traditional yet effective ways to build marketing strategies is based on customer lifecycle stages. Even though this method has been around for ages, many aren't taking it to its extent and aren't making the most out of it. So we asked our very own Ella Aron, Strategic Services Team Leader, to share some tips from her vast experience on how to do lifecycle marketing the right way. Ella, please do educate us.
Hi, Amit. Thank you for having me. For the next few minutes, I'm gonna talk about a bit about lifecycle-based campaigns and why is it so important to differ between the campaigns by lifecycle stage. And I'm gonna also give you one example per lifecycle stage. I'll focus only on the new, active, and churn lifecycle stages. So let's start with the new lifecycle stage. First example is a welcome email. So new customers are customers that are fairly new to your brand, and obviously you want to keep them with you after that short period of time when they're in the new lifecycle stage. So you can send a welcome email. Based on our best practices, we saw that this kind of campaign actually increases the activity without even sending a promotion. So that's great news. What you can include in the welcome email is first to congratulate the customers for joining your brand, for having their first deposit or having their first purchase. You want to include some education about the brand because brand awareness is super important in those first weeks when the customer is new. You can include a link to the promotion page if it's gaming, or a link to bestsellers page if it's e-commerce. You can tell them if you have an app, customer service, why is it safe and secure to place a deposit or a purchase on your specific brand, and so on and so forth. So the objective for these lifecycle stage would be to increase the migration rate to the active lifecycle stage, and also to decrease the one-timers rate or the one-time depositors rate. Moving on to the active lifecycle stage. Active customers are customers that are active and engaged with your brand. So your objective for these customers is totally different from the new customers. What we can do with the active customers is actually to defer them by their chances to churn. So what you see here is an example of a risk of churn campaign for the active customers. For low risk of churn customers, for lowest of churn customers, your objective is to upsell or cross-sell them. These customers are super engaged. They're not in risk of churning, so you can try and cross-sell them to another product or another category, or you can upsell. For example, if their average order value or average deposit amount is $50, perhaps you can try and increase their value by giving them a promotion if they place a deposit or a purchase greater than $50. For mid-risk customers, your main objective is to just prevent them from churning. You can offer them a promotion. And for high risk of churn customers, you want to prevent them from churning by offering a stronger offer. So these customers actually receive the strongest offer out of these three. And your objective for these life cycle stage is first to maintain their activity and to increase the retention rate, and also to maximize the revenue. Again, this is mostly for customers that are not in risk of churn. Moving on to the churn lifecycle stage, which are customers that used to be active and have churned. So something made them churn, and you want them, to make them reactivate and have an activity again. So this specific campaign is a login campaign, which means yesterday they logged in the site, so they were interested in your brand, but today they're still in the churn lifecycle stage. So what you can do is send a campaign and hit the iron while it's hot and send an enhanced offer. Because these customers are churn customers, it's a bit harder to make them have an activity, for example, when comparing them to an active customer. So you want to send a strong offer to these customers and try and reactivate them. So although it was only 3 examples, 1 per life cycle stage, there are much more examples of campaigns per life cycle stage, and there are much more life cycle stages. And this is a part of what we do in the strategic services. So if you do have any more questions about campaign ideas or other life cycle stages or anything else, you can always feel free to contact me. And that's it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Ella. And now to personalization at scale. Personalization at scale is an oxymoron. Personalization, when done right, is an art. And as you can imagine, scaling art is impossible. But there's always a but. We have some advice for how to scale personalization without deteriorating its effectiveness. Gabby Lester from Optimove's product marketing team will share best practices from the e-learning space on how to go about scaling personalization.
Hi, everyone. So today we're going to discuss how e-learning platforms can optimize their marketing flow. So when it comes to online learning platforms, we have seen a big rise in students joining the platform due to the pandemic. So whether your platform is offering coding courses, language courses, marketing courses, philosophy courses, or any other course that your platform offers, you're generally going to have a very high level of engagement with these students because they're coming back on a daily basis or a monthly basis. So that provides a lot of opportunity to engage with your students, offering them different promotions or reminders for the next course. But you also want to make sure that while you're automating these campaigns, you're orchestrating them, and you want to prioritize these campaigns to make sure that each student isn't only getting a limited number of campaigns each day, but they're also getting the most relevant campaign to them. So let's take, for example, a student who recently completed a course. You have 2 options. You can either automate a campaign and just say, okay, this student completed a course, I want to send them a promotion and give them 10% off on the next course they enroll in, just to incentivize them to enroll in another course. Or you can ask yourself a different question. Does this student actually need to be incentivized? So we can look at a flow that looks something like this. So we have a student who completed a course in the past week. If the answer is no, obviously we're not automating any campaigns. If the answer is yes, we're going to ask another question. Has a new course been added to cart? So has the student already added a course that they want to enroll in? If the answer is yes, again, we're not going to offer any special promotions to students who are willing to or desire to enroll in another course anyway. If the answer is no, we're going to ask the next question, which is, did this student receive this promotion after completing this specific course? If the answer is yes, again, you're not going to send this campaign out because you want to make sure that you're not bombarding your students with the same message. If the answer is no, then you can send the 10% discount on the next course they enroll in. So this is just one example on how online learning platforms can optimize their marketing flow. We do have 3 additional use cases that can be downloaded from our blog. So that's the Optimove blog, e-learning platform, optimize your marketing flow, and you can download it right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. And that is a wrap. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you found this interesting and insightful. We'd love to hear any feedback you might have. Shoot us an email at contactus@postfunnel.com. We'll be here again next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, with more thoughts, tips, best practices, and all that good stuff, all in the context of CRM marketing. In the meanwhile, if you'd like to take a look at our previous broadcasts, those can be found on Optimove's YouTube channel, or its Facebook page, or its LinkedIn page. You got the idea. Hope to see you again next week. Until then, take good care